Have you noticed that one person who carries a perfectly smooth, pre-packaged explanation for their isolation? They don't just give reasons, they present a polished wall. They'll tell you within minutes that people are fake, or I value quality over quantity. It sounds intentional, like a choice made in a temperature-controlled room. But watch the air when someone actually tries to connect with them. The door doesn't just close, it clicks shut with the weight of iron. Most people miss the physics of what's actually happening. Let's break it down. People who consistently have no friends aren't unlucky. They are architects of a vacuum. They've learned that the only way to avoid the sting of a cold shoulder is to freeze the room first. It isn't introversion, it's a survival casing. The brain builds a hard, protective shell to shield the ego from the friction of social failure. And once that shell hardens, it becomes a prison where the heat can't get in and connection can't take root. There are 5 patterns to recognize. The first is the preemptive dismisser. They coat every social opportunity in a layer of frost before anyone can get a grip. Parties are shallow, group chats are static, casual hangouts are a waste of kinetic energy. They devalue the market of friendship so they don't have to admit they can't afford the entry price. It creates a false gravity of superiority. They aren't excluded, they're perched on a block of ice looking down. But when someone has to constantly explain why the grapes are sour, they're usually starving. The second is the intensity controller. They have no temperate zone. They oscillate between a flood of oversharing and the dead stillness of a stone wall. They'll trauma dump in the first conversation, forcing a heat that hasn't been earned, or they stay as impenetrable as frosted glass for months. Both extremes act as a repellent. The flood creates a heavy weight of responsibility. The stillness creates a barrier that eventually turns people away. Connection requires a steady pulse. If they can't find a middle frequency, they'll always be out of sync with the room. The third is the graveyard architect. They walk into every new room carrying the heavy stones of past betrayals. Every story is a monument to how someone else failed them. The narrative is always sharpened to a point. They were the victim, the other was the villain. Zero self-reflection, just a list of people who went cold. Here's what that signals. You are merely a future tombstone. They're inviting you into a relationship that already has an expiration date etched in granite. When someone shows you a graveyard of friendships, believe them. They are the common denominator in every burial. The fourth is intermittent static. They treat friendship like a utility, a light switch they only flip when their own battery is low. Their presence feels thin as parchment. They ghost for weeks, then reappear with a sudden, heavy demand for your time, and become indignant if your gate is closed. People eventually stop investing energy into a broken circuit. When there's no reciprocity, the weight of the bond becomes too lopsided to carry. Consistency is the only currency that matters. If the signal keeps dropping, stop trying to fix the connection. The fifth is the precision scalpel. They use standards as a shield of surgical steel. They dissect every potential friend looking for the one flaw that justifies keeping the door locked. No one is ever quite aligned enough, interesting enough. Their most common phrase is a sharp "but." This perfectionism is a polished mirror. By finding flaws in everyone else, they never have to look at their own fear of being seen. It's better to be alone and right than vulnerable and connected. Loneliness is rarely a lack of people. It is the result of self-protective mechanics that have become self-destructive. The person with no friends isn't being pushed out. They are building a fortress and wondering why the air is getting thin. The defense they built to keep the cold out has successfully trapped them in it. Once you see these patterns, you notice the temperature changes everywhere, in others and eventually in yourself. The difference between isolation and influence is the willingness to lower the shield and let the room get a little warmer. Subscribe to keep learning the mechanics of how people really work.